Right, no, I get that. I only disagree that from my point of view, I loved it as a huge tragedy because that's how they were sort of crafting the show. Like I didn't need to be empathetic toward those people. um,
This is CBS LA at 4.
Now in more breaking news, singer David pleading not guilty in the murder of a local teen whose dismembered body was found in his car. What's next as the victim's heartbroken family seeks justice?
Plus, a small plane crashes upside down in a local parking lot. The dramatic moments when Good Samaritans rushed in to pull the pilot from the wreck. And we start with breaking news. After months of speculation, singer David pleading not guilty to murder charges today in court.
The singer is accused of killing a teenage girl whose dismembered body was found in his car. CBS LA's Jeff Nguyen is live in downtown LA where the musician appeared in court. Jeff?
And today, the district attorney told us what he believes is the motive in this murder case is. He believes it was a cover-up of an illegal sexual relationship between an adult music star and an underage teen. The singer David Anthony Burke walking into a holding area for his arraignment Monday wearing a black sweatshirt. His attorneys entering a not guilty plea on murder charges on his behalf.
We believe the actual evidence will show David Burke did not murder Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nor was he the cause of her death.
The 21-year-old music star arrested last Thursday as seen in this video from the California Post. He's accused of repeatedly sexually abusing Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was 14 at the time of her death. The victim had been reported missing at least 3 times in 2024. Her friends say she had been in a romantic relationship with Burke.
These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring.
During a news conference with LAPD Chief Jim McDonald, LA County District Attorney Nathan Hopkins says the case against Burke is built around 3 points. First-degree murder with special circumstances of lying in wait, committing a crime for financial gain to maintain his lucrative music career, and murdering a witness in an investigation.
The witness to the investigation was Celeste, and the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke.
Investigators say they had learned that Celeste was in a sexual relationship with Burke when he was an adult and she was a minor under the age of 14. They say Celeste went to the Hollywood Hills home where Burke had been staying in April of last year.
She was never heard from again.
About 5 months later, her dismembered and decomposed remains were found in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to Burke. Chief McDonald addressed the criticism his department has been facing for not providing details when rumors have been spreading about the investigation.
I want to be clear about something. My duty is not to fuel speculation. It's to deliver justice, and that requires patience and discipline on everybody's part.
David Burke is expected back in court on April 23rd. The judge has also ordered a release of the medical examiner's report into this investigation because so far the cause of Celeste Rivas Hernandez's death has not been made public. We're live in downtown Los Angeles. Jeff Nguyen, CBS LA.
And more breaking news, a man armed with a machete shot by officers in Oxnard. Police say that suspect was waving the knife and threatening officers when they arrived at this gas station on West Pleasant Valley Road just after noon. That suspect was taken to a local hospital to be evaluated and treated. No word yet on his condition. No officers or bystanders were hurt in the police shooting. The area is still taped off, though, as an investigation is underway.
A small plane slammed into a parking lot late this morning, snapping high-voltage power lines and causing evacuations in the area. The single-engine Cessna went down just after 11 near Van Nuys Boulevard. Video from the scene shows Good Samaritans pulling the pilot from the wreckage, working together to lift the weight of the plane, as you see it here. The pilot is in the hospital tonight. No word yet on how he's doing, but thankfully, nobody on the ground was hurt. The impact, though, left live wires laying in the street.
For San Fernando.
Meantime, the wreck
Okay.
is reigniting a local battle over the future of Whiteman Airport.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Monica Rodriguez issuing this statement, calling the
sounds good,
airport
thank
a, quote, serious health and safety threat, demanding its permanent closure. Whiteman Airport Coalition is urging the public to wait for the facts, defending the facility as a vital hub for wildfire response and public safety.
Well, a suspect is in custody after a brutal attack in downtown LA. Police say that suspect robbed, beat, and then set a 70-year-old man on fire in the 6 and Olive Streets. Officers arrived just after midnight and found that victim on fire. Firefighters took him to the hospital in critical condition with second-degree burns. The suspect was arrested at the scene.
A violent attack inside a Burbank home, leaving one woman dead, another hospitalized, and a suspect still on the run. CBS LA's Luzelia Caballero is live in Burbank where this all happened. Luzelia, neighbors say this all comes as a shock.
Those who live in the area say they are shocked, but what we're getting is that there's an overwhelming sense of concern blanketing this neighborhood as the suspect is still at large. And that is the very latest from Burbank PD. As you can see, the investigation is still ongoing as they work to gather more evidence. This is pretty crazy to me. People in this neighborhood, like Brooke Barker, waking up to the news. 2 women were stabbed inside a home on Brighton Street around 6 o'clock Monday morning.
To have something so close to your neighborhood happen is really terrifying.
Burbank police say both women were rushed to the hospital where one died. The condition of the other remains unknown. And it's terrible. Patricio Fuentes says the news comes as a shock to him and many of his neighbors.
This is a really nice neighborhood. It's walk it every morning early before the sun rises.
And given this happened about a block away from a grade school and the suspect is still on the run,
It's a little nerve-wracking to hear.
A lot of like sadness for the family.
Yes.
A lot of stress.
investigators though are
Not
doing
yet.
everything they can to track
Not
down
yet.
the person who did this, going door to door, canvassing the neighborhood to gather evidence. At this point, Burbank PD says the relationship between the suspect and the victim,
Yeah.
if any, as well as a possible motive, are under investigation.
We really only hope that they catch the guy who did it, and we just really think about the family and do stuff for them.
And as neighbors try to process what happened, many say they're now leaning on each other for support.
We just try to talk to each other and keep each other safe and support each other.
And there's still no description of the suspect at this time. Burbank PD, though, urging anyone who knows anything to come forward. Back to you guys.
All right, Ms. W, thank you. Well, burglaries in the San Fernando Valley are shaking up residents there after 9 homes have been targeted in just the last week. Mayor Karen Bass and Police Chief Jim McDonald are once again addressing the concern after multiple weekend break-ins. The city is sending extra resources to the valley, including high visibility officers along with mounted and air patrols. Police aren't connecting the string of break-ins, but say organized burglary crews are systemically targeting homes for luxury items.
These are sophisticated, organized crews, some of which are international. Cases like this require patience.
Hey, lady, where did you see the? Oh, in Burbank.
Follow-up.
Well, Chief McDonald says the LAPD has identified 49 suspects, adding officers have caught 9 in the act. City leaders recognize the string of break-ins is concerning, but they remind residents that overall burglaries are down 48% from last year.
Get ready for some rain that's on the way. You may be in for a wet commute home this time tomorrow.
Yes, Ellen Taft is tracking the next weather alert and when the spring shower will actually arrive at.
Yeah, and there's some pretty serious allegations. We just checked in with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Her case has not been heard just yet down there at the federal courthouse. Apparently, the judge has a pretty big docket. But we'll show you some of the photos we were able to pull out of court documents today, including this, a container chest full of cash that was apparently used in part of this deal. There is an armed drone that this woman, according to federal prosecutors, was selling from Iran to Sudan. Now, she lives in Woodland Hills, is a legal U.S. resident here, a legal U.S. citizen rather, and has been brokering this deal from Iran to Sudan. Now, according to the feds, she has ties to Iranian military as well as Iranian special forces that was doing all of this. There you see FBI agents along with the U.S. Department of Justice arresting her at LAX. Now, they accuse her of not only brokering a deal for millions of rounds of ammunition as well as those armed drones, but even including bombs and bomb fuses. All they say she was doing it from the San Fernando Valley. Now, she admitted in an interview, according to the feds, with federal law enforcement that her first husband was an Iranian special military forces there and had those ties, and she was including meeting with another person in the Iranian defense ministry as well. So lots of allegations here. We are expecting her in court today to plead on these federal charges or at least make her first appearance. So far, that has yet to happen.
All right, Mike, lots of allegations.
Yep.
Lots of questions. With the fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran set to expire tomorrow night, many are wondering what happens next. Pakistan's capital of Islamabad is preparing for a second round of peace talks this week between the U.S. and Iran. Iran says it doesn't plan to attend, and in a social media post, the country's president says a deep mistrust of the U.S. remains. Meantime, tensions escalated over the weekend in the Strait of Hormuz. Video from U.S. Central Command shows the seizure of an Iranian tanker that failed to comply with U.S. blockade.
Anybody who has dealt with the Iranians will tell you it is often 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. They're incredibly slippery. They can't be trusted.
Well, the president has said he's not likely to extend the ceasefire if there isn't an agreement.
Coming up, a difficult pill to swallow.
So we were Sunday for the last evening, and I cried all the way home. And I still get really emotional because I love them.
Heartbroken customers coping with the new reality as business resigned from Congress amid sexual misconduct allegations. More on what she told Watts about her decision and what's next. Still ahead on CBS LA at 5. CBS News California is holding a debate for the top candidates in the race for California governor. It will air live from Pomona College next week, Tuesday, April 28th at 5:30 p.m. You can watch the debate live on CBS stations across California and all of our streaming platforms.
It's been less than 2 weeks since Artemis 2 wrapped up a successful mission, but NASA's already making plans for Artemis 3. Today, the space agency is transporting part of the rocket on a barge from New Orleans to the Kennedy Space Center. Artemis 3 is scheduled for a mid-2027 launch. It will test docking capabilities for a crew transfer to a commercial lunar lander, with Artemis 4 scheduled to land on the moon in 2028.
Well, Pope Leo spent the weekend in Angola leading mass for hundreds of thousands gathered to see the pontiff at a sacred site known as the Gateway of No Return. The Marian pilgrimage shrine marks the place where millions of enslaved Africans were once forcibly baptized before being shipped across the Atlantic. During the papal mass, Leo's message condemned exploitation, focusing instead on peace and reconciliation. Those sentiments clashing with the White House leading President Trump to lash out online.
To those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain.
The talk that I gave at the prayer meeting for peace was prepared 2 weeks ago, well before the president ever commented on myself and on the message of peace that I am promoting.
Well, the fourth and final leg of the apostolic tour kicks off tomorrow in Equatorial Guinea.
An iconic sushi restaurant on the Sunset Strip has closed its doors for good to help make way for a controversial hotel and luxury business development that will eventually take over the entire block. CBS LA's Elise Martinez talked to residents and business owners who are concerned the Strip is losing its soul to developers.
After 43 years in business, Cafe Sushi on the Sunset Strip is no more.
I think it's a better block.
On social media, she says the Sunset Strip is turning into a ghost town. We don't need another hotel,
I would
find
not
that
either,
but it's tearing down all the reasons why it is expensive. And the legendary Viper Room may also be swept out into the new development. We have a lot of history, and to just demolish this, I think, is very soulless and disgusting because
I'm watching, I'm binging.
Los Angeles culture in a way. It's still important to have live music and a place for these artists.
Because you're well into
And those big digital billboards that you see popping up, like this one over the Richfield logo, show the shift from the Strip's rock and roll roots to a more modern design. It just feels like a big block in the back. It just looks ugly. And I'm just scared that they're going to put that everywhere. With one last sweep of their storefront, Yayoi, Inoue, and Andy say they understand that times are changing, and they're raising money online to find a new way to begin again.
We're getting pretty old, but in Japan they keep working hard until they're 120, so we can see where we can go with this. And we have a lot of great customers who've been coming for decades, so we definitely want to be in the areas if possible.
In West Hollywood, Elise Martinez, CBS LA.
Well, it may not feel like it now, but some changes are headed our way, and Beck will be here this time tomorrow.
Yeah, Ellen Taft tracking when the next round of rain will arrive, and that's prompting a next weather alert. similar
Yeah.
thing that happened a week ago that was probably worse than this current one.
Oh, no.
Uh,
Yeah, why? Why?
I was stunned. Like I was quite literally like,
Why is this happening? Yeah.
I'm it's like
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Hmm? It's funny too because I feel like when I first started watching this show,
All right, now thanks so much. Coming up, the push for change after a mama bear is euthanized after a run-in with a local resident.
plus Coop Patrol.
Can cause collisions and injuries and damage to boards, and at the very least, it can ruin your wedding.
A local surfer on a mission to make sure others follow the unspoken rules on the water before a day of surfing ends in a trip to an emergency room. But I thought it was like some big thinly veiled sort of like
Hi.
family thing.
Have you guys talked to you and Paul about the stringer, the pilot getting dragged out of the plane?
I mean, I was like, oh, this one's so
I'm gonna guess no one wants me to show that, but
essentially playing out like that family was tied up in.
did we?
That?
Look.
I mean, maybe, but
Okay.
the
No. We used them trying to flip the plane over. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Look at can you pull it up really quickly? Maybe I can get away with something. STR Pacoima plane crash.
Not Rupert Grant, but the other family from South Carolina. I don't know why. The
And no,
father
you're not
from
gonna use
South
any of this, I don't
Carolina
think.
and he killed the cleaning woman in his
oh,
bedroom.
that one,
But
the one where it was pronounced weirdly, even though his name
looks so different.
yes,
That
Murdoch.
Well, if
yeah,
you're searching
like,
global search, it gets rid of those.
Different, spelled
yes,
differently,
You sure?
but pronounced the same.
the same.
It's weird.
But for some reason,
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
said
yeah.
that, I
Can't have
thought
to
that,
sneeze.
and I was just, wait, it's gonna be the guy. But Rupert Murdoch.
What about at like 8 seconds,
That's what I thought too.
where they're like holding him?
Yeah, I just.
You're no fun.
Still kicking.
But you know, it's like every character that seems.
I wish there was audio on it too. It bugs me the audio so low.
You don't like them either, like Holly Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And then how she's like totally playing Siobhan, and the dad like.
Yeah.
What? Wait, come on. You're smarter than this. Why are you falling for this? So it really is
Yeah.
a love-hate relationship for her.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's
Okay, bye.
because you know there's a major character that's introduced. I'm pretty sure toward the tail end of it's like season 3 and 4. It's named after the rest of the show basically,
Okay.
and that provides a jolt of energy where you're just like, this guy's just as bad as the rest of
Was
them.
it? Oh gosh. What is there? 5 seasons? 4 seasons?
I think it's 4. Let me double
Oh
check
my
that.
gosh. I just want it to end. I just want to be done with it. Like I want to watch,
4. Yeah.
but I want to be done.
4. Yeah. 4 with 39 episodes total. So that's the other thing. It's not a heavy lift. Like you
Yeah.
finish it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is a lot.
We watch one a day.
I will remake it.
One a day.
One a day. Yeah. That's all I can handle though.
Succession?
Yeah.
I never finished it.
The controversial euthanizing of a mama bear in Monrovia last month is sparking a push for change. State lawmakers are now considering legislation that calls for non-lethal solutions for any wildlife-human issues in the future. Senate Bill 1135 established the Wildlife Coexistence which would provide public education, technical assistance, and non-lethal deterrence like barriers and noise machines.
Mayor Karen Bass revealing a $14.9 billion budget proposal today, and unlike last year's plan, the 2026-2027 outlook does not involve any layoffs or other cuts to services and actually adds 500 jobs. Bass attributed that to increased tax revenues. The plan also emphasizes law enforcement, safety, programs to address homelessness, as well as cleanup and repair initiatives ahead of the 2028 Olympics.
We are investing in what works, fixing what doesn't, and making smarter decisions with every dollar so that results are faced in every neighborhood. Because the work is not finished, we are moving with purpose, delivering real results, and building a city that is safer, more affordable, and more resilient for decades to come.
Well, Bass calls it a balanced budget. The city council will spend the next several weeks reviewing the proposal before a vote on whether to approve it.
The Trump administration will begin processing some $166 billion in tariff refunds to American businesses. Customs and Border Patrol will issue refunds to businesses that request them, but not to individual consumers. This comes after the Supreme Court ruled the taxes Trump announced last April were illegal. Companies can submit requests through an online portal known as CAPE.
Well, coming up at 4:30, a pesky neighborhood nuisance.
An unwanted house guest may be creeping into your home. What you can do to keep mosquitoes away from your property.
And I'm 7 editor Mike Rogers at the desk. A man accused of running down a group of sheriff's recruits pleaded guilty today. What his sentence is, that's ahead.
Plus, you've heard of registries for weddings and baby showers, but what about divorce? The new way people are getting a fresh start.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you.
What are you watching now, John?
I just finished the second season of Beef on Netflix.
Beef?
Yeah. The show I love. That's also another strong recommendation. They're two separate seasons. It's an anthology, so there's no.
Oh,
You could easily watch season 2 without ever touching
it's
season
called
1.
Beef?
Yeah. The first one I think is better. It's a touch darker, a little more biting and fresh.
Okay.
Whereas with the second season, you inadvertently compare it to the first one,
Okay.
especially because it's so new that there's like a similar topic. But if you judge it on its own, I still think it's very good. If anything, it's more White Lotus tinged for the second season. A little funnier, not quite as dark. And only 8 episodes, and the first season's only 10, and none of them are like 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
Hey, Gary, how are you?
This is CBS LA at 4.
Now at 4, a man accused of running down a group of sheriff's recruits nearly 4 years ago has pleaded guilty.
Mike, we understand that this man struck a deal with prosecutors here and will not serve any time behind bars?
Yeah, that's right, Amy and Gio. He got a plea deal with the prosecutors here and pleaded guilty to vehicular manslaughter. As part of that deal, the judge gave him a suspended sentence of 8 years. So essentially, he will be on probation. And if he were to mess up while on probation, then he would serve his 8-year sentence. But let's take a look at the video. You remember this happened in 2022. It was the early morning hours here. Those recruits had been out on a run as part of their academy training when this person, this driver here, you see him on the screen, crashed into them. Now, he had told investigators that he had just come home from work or was on his way home from work and was sleep deprived and fell asleep at the wheel, which caused the crash. Now, several deputies or cadets were injured in all of this. One of them died, though. He was taken to an area hospital where it took him about 7 months laying in a hospital bed before he finally passed away. And other recruits have lifelong injuries and lifelong damage. This man went to court and again pleaded guilty to the charges against him, which included the vehicular manslaughter charge. He will not face any time behind bars so long as he behaves while he is on probation. The sheriff's department says while this is a portion of justice, it says nothing will bring back the deputy candidate that they lost or change the injuries that those other deputy candidates have faced for their life.
All right, Mike, thank you. In Mexico, a Canadian
That was rough.
dead and 6 other people were hurt after a man opened fire at the popular tourist site. It happened at the famous pyramids an hour outside of Mexico City. Local news shows the gunman standing on a pyramid as people tried to take cover. He reportedly took his own life after the shooting.
Because they're looking for a place to lay those eggs.
Biologist Eric Paquette is setting a mosquito trap for Orange County Vector Control to monitor this year's exploding population. Another trap in a Santa Ana storm drain will get a 24-hour pest count. It's a hot spot where water pools, and that attracts females laying eggs.
You've heard of Shark Week. Mosquito Week is worse because mosquitoes kill more people than any other animal. So we're really concerned. We want to get the word out to people
About viruses transmitted by mosquitoes like West Nile and dengue. Peak mosquito season hasn't hit, yet experts say the warm winter and abundant rain is bringing them out in force. In the first few days of April, Vector Control caught 43 mosquitoes per trap, which is more than 2 times the 5-year average, where 17 mosquitoes were caught in each trap during the same month.
I've never experienced so many mosquitoes this year.
Carol Sanchez says it's been bad in Santa Ana.
And so there's been a lot of mosquitoes like in our backyard. We have a pool, so we tend to like hang out in the backyard a lot, or even in the front yard with my granddaughter. We get bit.
To help prevent bites, Vector Control says to walk around your yard once a week and dump and drain water from buckets, containers, and plant saucers where mosquitoes lay their eggs. Fix the screens on windows and doors to keep mosquitoes from flying inside, and always have repellent at the ready.
So we're seeing a lot of mosquitoes. We're seeing almost as many mosquitoes in 1 week as we saw in summer last year. The temperatures aren't quite high enough for West Nile virus to replicate out in the wild, but we're right there. So now is the time to just be vigilant.
In Garden Grove, Michelle Geely, CBS LA.
A former professional surfer is taking the issue of kooks to Huntington Beach City Council. Surfers use the term kook to describe a surfer who's inexperienced or unaware of etiquette. Bjorn Hazelquist is a former professional surfer from Costa Mesa. He started a nonprofit called the Strength in Pain Foundation after he recovered from a traumatic brain injury and broken neck. He says recent run-ins with inexperienced surfers on the water pushed him to bring this topic up to council.
You just see people colliding with each other, boards go flying up in the air, and they hit people in the face, which is exactly what happened to me right out here a couple of years ago. Somebody took off in front of me, he didn't know what he was doing, and the board flipped up and just whacked me really hard in the face. Gave me a small TBI and a really bad neck injury.
He plans to deliver a public comment to the Huntington Beach City Council tomorrow night regarding the so-called kook patrol. His nonprofit also has a new awareness campaign about surfing dangers.
Well, the Lakers lead 1-0 in their best-of-7 series against the Houston Rockets.
And Jim Hill has more on what LA needs to do tomorrow night in Game 2 to secure another win. Jim?
play with the same sense of desperation and go more.
You get to be a sponge early on. You get to learn a lot. And I think if you show up with a lot of humility and ask a lot of questions and stay very curious, you get the chance to learn a lot about everything that's happening here and how to fit in and how to be the best version of yourself.
Feels great, that feels like a first day of school, kind of in a sense, where we're getting back, seeing everybody, getting around everybody, just smiling, hugging, just being back doing what we love is the best part about it. It felt like we were under siege the entire game, and our everyone kind of was standing tall and doing a great job. And you're spending the entire game kind of battling just to be in it. And it's just, it took me a second to comprehend what had happened. And then, the coaches started hugging me again. I still hadn't even, it hadn't hit my brain yet.
All right, Jim, thanks so much. Still ahead, no soup for you.
What police discovered inside this soup can during a traffic stop that had one driver snacking in some jail time.
Plus, sobering statistics, the new research on teen cannabis use that's sparking some real concern amongst parents on this 420.
The first season is a very simple, it's the stand-up comedian on one, and season one is the other actor, and it's like road rage incident between them at a parking lot.
Okay.
Kicks off the whole thing.
Really?
And it's a show.
Oh, beat.
Yeah, it's a comedy drama.
Okay.
And much deeper than you think. There's some crazy wild twists and turns. You're like, I can't believe this is the direction it's going in. But it never loses its candle. It stays steady pretty well. And the synonymous with marijuana. New studies show teens in California are using marijuana more than before, and it could be impacting their brain development. Researchers at UC San Diego tracked more than 11,000 kids and found cannabis use during adolescence can limit growth in memory, attention, and thinking skills. THC, the main psychoactive ingredient, was linked to worse memory over time. Experts say even small changes during this critical brain development period can impact learning and daily life. It comes as researchers at Kaiser Permanente found that cannabis use among teens rose after California legalized marijuana in 2018, following years of decline.
Well, we've all used gift registries for weddings and baby showers, but now some people are turning to them in one of life's toughest moments, divorce. Olivia Howell experienced that firsthand 7 years ago. The mother of two says her community wanted to help but didn't know how. So she created the first divorce gift registry called Fresh Starts. Since launching, it's drawn more than 1 million visitors with tens of thousands using the site each month.
And I thought, I had 2 baby registries, I had a wedding registry. This is when I actually need the things to rebuild my life again, to see that there's a new life coming before me.
Well, the platform also connects users with more than 150 professionals, therapists, lawyers, and financial advisors.
The city of Long Beach will soon have another feather in its cap as it celebrates a new, unique accolade. Long Beach is getting its own Monopoly board game. It features some local landmarks like Queen Mary and Belmont Shore. The special edition is part of a larger series that's rolling out across the country. Long Beach now joins other California cities with their own Monopoly versions, which include San Diego, Riverside, and Huntington Beach. Later on CBS LA at 6, our Rena Nakano shows us the excitement in Long Beach.
Well, still ahead, a jaw-dropping physical but wild scene inside an operating room that will leave you on the edge of your seat.
Plus, safeguarding our planet, the mobile learning lab teaching local kids why every drop of water counts this Earth Month. Really? Yeah.
That was really good?
Yeah. I wasn't as hot on the 3rd season. I thought the 3rd season was the first time people kind of got like, Thank you, Arturo.
Hi.
Looks like there's not a show going on.
I know. Nice.
What the hell? It is nice to have a little quiet zone.
I like having the lights off too.
Yeah. We got Gigi. Everybody's coming up, Kelly.
Oh. Boo.
Evil.
I know. Hmm?
Wait for Amy. Tell them things that I tell them all every day.
Hey, they're right here. Here's your mics.
If I didn't. No one told me.
Did you say hi to YouTube?
Hmm?
Did you say hi to YouTube?
Oh, sorry. Hi, YouTube. Yep. No, God bless him.
Yep. Miguel's asking why they turn the lights off. Miguel, I prefer the lights off. Yeah.
It's really bright.
It's really bright. It's really bright, and it's really bright all night long. All night. So sometimes.
I work where it's totally dark.
Yeah.
So it sucks to be out here.
You know, sometimes Arturo does me a solid, but now he wants me to suffer.
It's incredible. It's truly magical.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Check down.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, let's get back. 15-second walk.
They have to go all the way around.
We are going to just explore the
I always think of that as the
I used to call it his escape hatch. So.
all around the world. The mission has always been to bring attention to marine life and the ocean. And now, the Wyland Foundation is taking those efforts on the road.
We roll up into schools in any neighborhood, anywhere in the
All week he's on a cruise. I have no Juan and I have no Matt. I know.
That sucks. That's double whammy.
I know. It'd be so lonely.
end up in the ocean. Even if they're 6 or 7 years old, when they come out of here, they can understand that they have the ability to make a change.
It's all time, just
science learning standards.
Okay, anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Easy for me.
Yeah.
Feedback from what teachers want.
If you have your dream of what to come into a school, teach kids about science, teach kids about social studies, this is what it would be. Here, kids get to learn hands-on how water moves from the mountains through the cities and into the ocean.
The Wyland Foundation hopes you'll check out its Clean Water Mobile Learning Center during Earth Month 2026 and make a splash in the effort to take care of the environment.
Everybody gets in on the action. You know, everybody's welcome, and we can all learn from it.
Zach Boetto, CBS LA.
And during this Earth Month, CBS LA is teaming up with the Heal the Bay and the Wyland Foundation to make it really count. Come out this Saturday and visit the Wyland Mobile Learning Lab at the Riverside Inset Fair. You'll find us at the main library on Mission Avenue. Just go to cbsla.com/Earth Month for more information and to see all of our Earth Month coverage.
In the spirit of Earth Day, we here at CBS LA made it our mission to help out. CBS LA teamed up with Heal the Bay to help preserve one of SoCal's most iconic sites. Check this out. This past Saturday, our CBS LA Cares team went down to Santa Monica Beach to pick up trash to make sure the coast stays clean and fun for everyone. It's been an annual effort by Heal the Bay since 1985.
Be sure to join us tomorrow for our next Coffee with CBS at Picaresca Tio Pepe in Boyle Heights. We want to hear what's on your mind, and we're going to be there live tomorrow from 7 in the morning until 10. We hope that you will grab a cup on us and talk to us about the issues that really matter to you, and we hope to see you there.
A coyote on the golf course during a tournament over the weekend at El Caballero Country Club in Tarzana. He scored some lunch. Well, the coyote took a few steps before realizing it wasn't really food. Turns out it was a fuzzy windscreen for a broadcast microphone used to record golf balls being hit. The coyote took off and looking for its next edible snack.
Well, no snack for this mountain lion. Vets at the Oakland Zoo gave this 127-pound puma a full physical exam. They drew blood, did a whole body scan, and even cleaned its teeth. Silver got a clean bill of health. The Oakland Zoo has been taking care of dozens of rescued mountain lions and years. And now back to the abandoned in the Santa Monica Mountains.
showers on the horizon.
Evelyn Tabb tracking the timing of the rain and what we should all be preparing for it.
Yeah, so we were planning everything, and I was like, well, we can, you wanted to do Hawaii's, we can do Hawaii origin plan. That's the last one voted. Sounds pretty cool. She's like, I want to do both. I'm like, okay, let's prioritize Hawaii first. We did that. But then looking at everything, my neighborhood, there's a no-name species from the shelters in Phoenix last week. And then I was actually in Florida to see my dad. My dad lives in Florida. He's my brother. So we go to Florida. And I was like, sorry, I thought she was coming over here. Luckily it was a thing. Plus our schedules aren't aligned either, so it's like, it's a little bit tough. Huge help from me, actually. Huge trip. But I do have a meeting with him exactly 2 days later. He'll listen to my rant. That's great. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You too?
We want to go see family at a mosquito office. She works remotely, so she can work from home pockets and weekends, whereas I don't have that. So I was like, I'm trying to
I got you. You got me?
for Lent, do a
Okay.
yoga. Still, it was either do Japan and nothing else for the rest of the year, or allow yourself the flexibility and not go to Japan and start the entire summer, which turned out to be my entire summer, which is almost like half of the summer. There's 2 weeks is left. I'm moving to LA. The work anniversary is in June. But yeah, 2 years already. Yeah. Oh, I have some. I have like 3 weeks. 3 weeks goes by without keeping track of the color code of everything. Yeah, that's the real snack. Oh, within my first week, literally, maybe like a month's after, it was like not bad. Yeah, so I went back to see a couple of different places. Right.
Thanks so much, Jeff. And new at the top of the hour on CBS LA at 5, the People Mover is moving without the people. The big step for a project meant to get passengers to and from LAX. Plus, the Material Girl wants her materials back. The outfit stolen from Madonna at Coachella, and why she says they're more than just clothes. We'll have that much more for you new at the top of the hour on CBS LA 5. But now, ADGO, back to you.
Yeah.
Well, still to come, a vital push for diverse donors.
The Red Cross raising awareness about health disparities facing diverse communities. How one woman is paying it forward in a big way.
Is there something that CBS LA should investigate?
Yeah, so that,
Call the
you
CBS
know,
News
the,
California
I
Investigates tip line
looked at
at
that.
418-655-2442.
Yeah, I'll spend one time in basic needs months, is what it would look like. Yeah. And then my mom is the wild card because I said it's been about 3 days. Next week, she is there.
You're just there.
He's just there. I didn't tell her, which is a whole
Oh,
other
that's a whole
thing.
nother thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pretend like I didn't do all of this.
Amy, Jill, nice to see you guys.
Likewise.
Hello, hello. Sorry, I'm still all over the place here.
Oh, bye-bye, YouTube. I was free to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Conversation. How you doing?
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Almost dead? Oh, yeah. Yeah, interesting weekend.
That begets a follow-up question.
Oh, bittersweet. My girlfriend was with me at the beach and got a call while she was there.
Bye. Thank you, Arturo.
So